Anyways, how's it going? It's the Attack here. The other day, I was grabbing a can of Coke, and the weird thing that I found was that there's an all-access pass on the cans now. If you can see that. The all-access pass is to this thing called Coke Studios. And it got me thinking, does anybody out there remember Coke Music, Coke Studios, or My Coke, the online social game? We used to meet online with people, we would chat, talk about whatever, play different types of mini games, have different types of, I guess you'd call them avatars nowadays. They used to call them V-Egos, or virtual egos, and I scanned it, of course, because it's got the, scanner on there. And I was like, well, that's weird. It's not what I thought it was, which is a game that I hope a lot of you remember, actually. And that's the game of Coke Music. So let's get into that. I got some stuff I found on it. So, the first thing that you'll notice here is that this is the login screen. So there's different people playing in this game. And what it was he would make different mixes of different songs. It could be a little snippet, piece here, piece there, But it was pretty cool. And you would come in every day, log in, and there'd be that Coke FM. And you could listen, and there'd be different people's songs playing, ones that Coke themselves had made, cool things like that. So, for those of you that don't know what Coke Music is, first of all, Coke Music is, well, an online chat-based game. It was used as a marketing tactic for the Coca-Cola company to push their products, which is obviously, like I said, Coke. And the game launched in January of 2002. It was made by VML Inc., formerly Studiocom. They were an Atlanta-based digital agency, and they used the core technology from another game called Habbo Hotel, which was made by the company Sioux Lake Corporation. So they basically took that idea. Every day you would have to log in at a certain point in the night. I think it was either 10 or 11 p.m. You couldn't log in anymore, and you could come to this page, but it wouldn't let you in on the game itself. So there's a few versions of the game. Version 2, which it was originally Coke Music, and then it became Coke Studios. Came out in 2004 with the name change. It wasn't really that different. It brought locations now. So, like this, for instance, this is called the Coca-Cola Red Room. It's pretty cool. So the Red Room was a place that you could go and play your mix on the mixing board, and people would vote on your song, and they would say whether they liked it or they disliked it, and it would get you this money, this currency, which they call decibels, which is obviously the music thing. It's a play on the word. But the different location options are pretty cool, because you got the Coca-Cola Red Room, and then you would have rooftop location, which I don't have a picture of. There's Subway. You could go to the Subway and play in New York. Later on they would add like Tokyo, London, things like that. So it was pretty cool, actually. This is also the time that they would change names from Coke Music to Coke Studios, and then finally they would change their name to My Coke, which was shut down on December 6, 2007. Now, even though it was shut down, users were encouraged to come on and try the new CC Metro, which stood for Coca-Cola, obviously. And it was owned by the There Network, And in March of 2009, there was also shut down, ending the Coke music world. Now, I grew up playing this with my best friend. We used to play at his house all the time and at my house. As you can see, is this one right here. This is the Japanese room that you could play in Japan, and people would dance on the dance floor. And you can see there's a queue to line up on the left-hand side of that dance floor that goes around it, and you can go up the stairs. Because sometimes that lineup would be curled out the door, because so many people would want to play. And we used to love it because there were so many different rooms you could go to and so many different places. And then eventually, they would add San Francisco, Mexico City, New York City, City Apartment Rooftop, there's Beach, Tokyo, London Club, Giant Music Hall, and some others that were promotional. I can't remember. I remember there was a big promotion for American Idol, so there was an American Idol lounge for a while. But what was cool is you would be able to go to these different places and play your mixes, but then also there was Coke bottles everywhere, either in crates, vendors would have them, sometimes little vendor stands, Coca-Cola vending machines, sometimes in the ice, in the Arctic one. Like, there was some pretty cool things you could get them from, and then when you drink it, each one that you drink would give you a coin or a decibel, the currency. Now, you would each have your own studio. Like, here's an example of a studio here. And you would have different objects in the studio, like furniture. As you can see by the guy with the green hat above him, there's a mixing table. That mixing table is where you would make your track. And you can see there's a CD on the floor beside him, actually. And it would be decorated with different objects you'd either win or you'd purchase. As you can see on the wall, there's an American Idol TV as a promotional gift. You can get Coca-Cola coolers. This guy has 3 of them. There's another Coca-Cola CD player down on the ground beside the Coca-Cola fridge. Has the buoy, and then you get the different color dividers. You could make them any color you want. You get the Coca-Cola lounge couches like he has here with the tables, just for the diners. Now you could get all these different types of things, but my favorite were the Coca-Cola couches. And eventually they would actually use this couch for American Idol. And the American Idol contestants would sit on it and talk to Ryan Seacrest, and it always used to make me go, oh my god, there's the Coke couch. Like, I loved it. They cost, I think, 5,000 decibels. It's quite a bit of money. And you can see up to the top there, in the left-hand corner, there's a pinball machine. Now, pinball machines and Coke couches were like gold and silver for currencies. Like, I always wanted to get my hands on a Coke couch or a pinball machine, even if I didn't need any more, because I'd had some, which I loved the pinball machines and the Coke couches. But you could use them to trade with other people who come into your studio. You go into theirs, you meet them in public. Sometimes you could trade different types of furniture that you didn't have that you wanted. As you can see, he's got a bunch of fridge stocked here as well. And if you can really see in the right hand corner, there's a gumball machine. It's actually a vanilla Coke gumball machine. Okay, so here's a look at the music mixer. So you would have different types of samples from different types of genres, and also different types of instrument samples, and you could make your own mix. And then when you made the mix, it would make one full song, and then you would take that song and you would burn it to a CD. And on that CD, you would burn that track, and you would bring it with you and play it, and you keep it in your backpack, or you put it on your floor or in your storage. But everybody would do this, and all these different songs would be played, and you would earn different sounds and sound clips and things like that when you played certain games or won certain events. Or it was pretty cool. There was a lot of games. I don't have any pictures of them, unfortunately. One of them was a roller coaster where it had 4 levers. I think it was green, red, yellow, and blue, and they would pull the levers in an order so many times, and you'd have to do the exact same thing to make your person or your V-Eagle go down the roller coaster. There was a sumo wrestling event as well, where you could dress up in a sumo suit and fight each other. There's some others I can't remember, but it was just fun, when you're a young kid, something to play online at night, and you got to make different types of mixes. Uh, it would always say like now playing by blah blah blah, and then it would say your vote, and usually it would show it above your head. Like if you voted thumbs up, it would show a green thumbs up, and if you voted thumbs down, like this track is shit, you'd vote thumbs down. And the more thumbs up you get in locations, the more decibels or money, currency in the game you would get, so you could buy stuff or go places. And as you can see, these people are lined up because they're going to line up to play their song. And it's probably wound all the way around. And I remember my parents had high-speed internet in Canada at the time, so I could get on really fast. My buddy Mark also had high-speed internet, but all of our friends, our other like 8 friends that played, did not. So we would always get into like the Tokyo and the London rooms and the Red Room and all that stuff, the American Idol room, and they could never get in there because their internet was a lot slower. So that was another thing. If your internet was slow, you would have to wait in a queue room on the main page where you could pick different, I guess, worlds, maps, rooms, whatever you want to call it. There were so many different ones. But each one of them revolved around the music, the Coke, and the furniture. So this is what the catalog would look like. It's the Coke Studios online catalog. Turn your decibels into items. 9 pages, wow, another drink, of furniture and other goods to make your studio stand out. Now what was really cool is you could do the walls and the floors, right? So you could do your wallpaper and your floors, siding on the wall, carpet, whatever, paint. And then you had your premier items, which was like your couches and your chairs and your things like that. Then you had your studio gear, which would be your speakers, your mixing boards, and all that type of stuff. And as you can see, here's a Coke collection, and a Coca-Cola Retro Mini Bar was 1,875 decibels. It says, oodles of authentic Coke items, come and get a polar bear statue of your own. Yeah, everybody was hopped up on polar bear statues at one point, but for me it was the Coke couches. And as you can see, you can't even see the pinball machine, the gumball machine, the lights, the neon signs. There's a whole bunch of stuff missing. Coca-Cola teleporter. There's special events that were items that even used to be in here that they eventually took out. But as you can see here, Coke couch was 5,000 decibels. So like if you had a whole room full of these, you could trade them for rare items that were only coming out, say, at Easter, and you wanted an Easter thing, you know, stuff like that. But it was really weird because all the places you could go to, you could get a Coke. So it was being ingrained in all of our minds. And for me, I never drank pop growing up. But I loved Coke when I did have pop the odd time. And, you know, seeing it in this game really, I guess, might have brainwashed me. I don't know, because I'm like, I drink it 3-4 cans of Coke a day. And, you know, it's going strong since I've been 18. I got it on my own. It's the first thing I'm doing, I'm buying Coke. So, you know, I really missed the game. And I started thinking about the nostalgia. Me and all my friends that I went to school with playing this game, you know, in the early 2000s, before Facebook, you know. MySpace had its things, but it wasn't the same. And like you could see, there was lots of different furniture you could get. Even here alone, there's the pinball machine, the very bottom, middle left, and it was amazing. There's the mixing board turned around both ways, CD players, speakers, pile, or cable pile, or wire pile. Oh my God, you'd see them everywhere. The glass dividers for your recording space, the rugs, there were so many things. And this is only like 5% of what they actually had in the catalog. It's impossible to find pictures of this anywhere. Like, literally anywhere. I can't find any of this type of stuff. I found most of it from watching videos on YouTube and screenshotting it or Googling what I could, you know, and you can't bring it up. It doesn't exist anymore. And as you can see, you have your backpack. Your backpack would get so full, and you'd have to, you know, get rid of things. And here's a trade screen, so it's a safe trade. So you can offer something, and then they'll offer something, and then you have to click you agree, and then it goes through. If you don't both agree, then it's so you can't get scammed, because it was happening a lot. And you used to have a list of user studios, which would be their recording studios, where you would get the Coke music and make their own mixes and things like that. But if you were to click on the Vehigos tab on the far right top, it would bring you to a list of your friends and your Vihigo. This is the user studios, and it would load and it would show my studios and show active studios, which are your friends, and just random ones. But if you click the public view, it would bring you to the world map. And you have like London, London 2, Miami, Miami 2, Mombasa, Mombasa 2, New York 1, and it just kept going down. And like for me, I was Toronto 1, I think. So it's lower, Toronto 1 would be there, and you would log on, and you could go in and check different people's rooms out in that part of the world. You go to special rooms, it would light up on the map, that's where you get your like locations eventually. You know, and if you ever had help, there was always a help section on the bottom that would guide you through everything. And it was just a great game, you know? And it was sad that eventually it would disappear and no one would ever speak of it again. And you know, that is really sad because it was a great game. You know, I had a lot of fun. It introduced you to a bit of like cut and paste music style. You know, you could create your own demos and feel like you did something. You know, and you could download the MP3s yourself and the screenshots of your places that you were living, or sorry, not living, but playing in, I guess, living like an apartment. And all of these things would help flesh out the game, really. And in so many ways, the game, I miss it. Me and my friends used to play it, and you know, not being able to log on anymore and just play it is a shame. I don't know. I looked on YouTube and I scoured through the videos, and I'm going to tell you, I did not find really anything about Coke music. There was a few like little tidbits. There was a guy with an electrical bolt or something on his shirt sitting in a chair talking about vague memories he had, and it was okay. The comments were more than really the video. And that was like 12 years ago, and I looked again and there was another guy who had some screenshots and some memories, but there was really nothing actually talking about the gameplay of it. And people started saying on some of these group pages, it's Mandela effect, it never existed. I'm gonna tell you right now, it did exist. It was 10 times better than Habbo Hotel, and I really wish it was still around. And being a lover of Coke, I would play the crap out of that game now. The early chat games are now gone, and that's all we have is just the memories. Well, thank you for tuning in, guys, and give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below. Let us know what you think of the video, and let us know if you have any memories of this game, because a lot of people are saying it doesn't exist, and I can tell you it did. And I know there's people out there, because they've commented, saying that they remember this game. So let us know in the comments if you remember this game, or games even like this. Don't forget to subscribe, and there'll be more videos to come soon. Thank you so much, and remember, no matter what you do, no matter what you play, no matter where you go, there's nostalgia everywhere.